He will see in Bakersfield, San Jose. We'll see in Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. So guess what happened in England? So this old guy here is hard of hearing. And somebody was, an immigrant fellow was talking to him, and he couldn't hear him. So he said, hey, speak clearly. Well, the cop came over because the cop was told he said, speak English. And that's a hate crime in England. To tell someone to speak English in England is a hate crime.
Wow, those cops are amazing there. The only crimes they bust are that and some very vague, shady thing about Russell Brand, but nothing with Jimmy Savile, the grooming gangs, the stabbings, that's all going to continue.
Let's listen.
Apparently during some conversations between yourself, apparently you have alleged, we weren't here, so I don't know you've said it, but you've alleged to say, speak English, or what's that effect? Speak clearly. Speak clearly.
No, the gentleman's partially deaf.
Yeah, he can't speak clearly. Yeah.
So I couldn't even hear him.
He said the guy's partially deaf, so he couldn't hear him. He said, speak clearly. And then listen to what the cop says. Listen to this.
No, and that's fine, and that's why we've just come to speak, because potentially someone could perceive that as a hate crime.
Someone could perceive that as a hate crime if you said speak English.
Well, he didn't say speak English, I thought.
No, but he said speak clearly. Yeah.
So, wow. Well, good for England. You guys have made it to V for Vendetta times.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know that cop. Let's show the cop. You know that cop was raised on James Bond films, thinking he was going to save the world, swinging with his Olympic conditioned body through a window to save the day. And here he is just giving pointless shit to some poor guy with a hearing problem just so he could keep himself in buttered scones. And buttered scones, that's English for donut. Wow. If it were not for the fact that America is England, but where everybody has guns, we would just actually be West England right now.
Well, they can only pull this kind of crap because people are not armed there. I mean, it's so hilarious. With the when I first went there in 2011, I remember the knife crime statistics were going up. So when you go to like any fast food place, you could only get a spork, like you're in prison,
like you're on a plane.
Well, I guess it was just they had so much knife-related crime because they don't have guns like that. And then there was a really funny, it was a meme picture of a cop. They did like a big knife bust, and it was just like the prison shows where you have the shanks on the wall. So you see all these knives, right? And then there's just a spoon. There was one spoon next to it. They banned ninja swords, and that's the word they used. We're banning ninja swords.
Hate crime legislation is the biggest control authoritarian garbage. You're allowed to hate stuff. Hate speech also. People who want to ban hate speech are people who just hate speech. And of all the people to make this case is...
Well, they want to say it, though. That all the people that were like, yeah, no, it should be against the law, they indulge in it regularly.
Well, here's Mr. Bean, which is kind of ironic because he got famous for not talking. He's like the guy in
Did you see Blackadder? Blackadder, he talked. Blackadder's the good one. I like it way better than Mr. Bean.
So here's a just snippet. He gave a long speech about free speech being in hate crimes and hate speech laws in England. And here's a snippet of what he said.
Reasonable and well-intentioned ambition.
By the way, calling yourself Mr. Bean, that name is very legumist, if I'm right. Anyway. Legumist, Kurt. Come on, legumist. Okay, let's listen to what he said.
Reasonable and well-intentioned ambition to contain obnoxious elements in society has created a society of an extraordinarily authoritarian and controlling nature. That is what you might call the new intolerance, a new but intense desire to gag uncomfortable voices of dissent. I am not intolerant, say many people, say many softly spoken, highly educated, liberal-minded people. I'm only intolerant of intolerance. And people tend to nod sagely and say, oh yes, wise words, wise words. And yet if you think about this supposedly inarguable statement for longer than 5 seconds, you realize that all it is advocating is the replacement of one kind of intolerance with another, which to me doesn't represent any kind of progress at all. Underlying prejudices, injustices, or resentments are not addressed by arresting people. They are addressed by the issues being aired, argued, and dealt with, preferably outside the legal process. For me, the best way to increase society's resistance to insulting or offensive speech is to allow a lot more of it. As with childhood diseases, you can better resist those germs to which you have been exposed. We need to build our immunity to taking offense so that we can deal with the issues that perfectly justified criticism can raise. Our priority should be to deal with the message, not the messenger. As President Obama said in an address to the United Nations only a month or so ago, laudable efforts to restrict speech can become a tool to silence critics or oppress minorities. The strongest weapon against hateful speech is not repression, it is more speech. And that's the essence of my thesis, more speech. If we want a robust society, we need more robust dialogue, and that must include the right to insult or to offend. And even if, as Lord Dore says, the freedom to be inoffensive is no freedom at all.
What?
The freedom
I see.
Yeah.
I thought he meant offensive. I
No.
switched it around. I mean, it's a good speech, but they didn't have good intentions, Rowan. It's not with the good. The intention was control authoritarianism.
That's right.
The part they don't give a rat's ass about is the entire part you talked about.
Yeah.
Everybody knows these points. You don't need to make a speech about it. They want to take over completely. You don't have any guns, so speech ain't going to help you now. It's too late for you now.
And so now they can say you're using hate speech, so they can control the narrative, and that's how they shut down debate. That's how they shut down dissent.
That was the goal.
That's
the goal was to do that.
Yeah,
they're
the
not well intentioned on any level. Why would you think that?
And nobody has a right to be protected from someone else's speech. No one. You don't have a right to not get your feelings hurt. That's the price. The price you pay for living in a free society.
Well, I have a hard time believing Obama what he said. He was not saying it like it's a negative thing. I think he was saying that's our plan.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's quite. Let's just watch this one more time.
Apparently, during some conversations between yourself, apparently you've alleged. We weren't here, so I don't know who said it, but you've alleged to say "speak English," or what's that effect?
Speak clearly.
Speak clearly.
No,
Okay.
the gentleman's partially deaf.
Yeah, he said speak clearly.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even hear him.
No, and that's fine, and that's why we've just come to speak, because potentially someone could perceive that as a hate crime.
We just
You see,
The guy in the back's great.
he's like, oh.
He's like, what? Yeah, Officer Pig Nose here.
Hey, that sounds like hate, Kurt, calling him a pig nose.
I mean, I don't hate him. I was just pointing out his nose. I mean, I guess he could perceive it that way, though, right?
Yeah.
But I live in America where we have guns, so S my D.
You know what? They don't want you to speak. You can't say to speak English, but it's but in their country, cunt is totally fine, right?
You could say the C word.
Yeah, that's their aloha.
When I was
Also,
when I was doing a cruise ship one time, I was doing a bit about a fanny pack, and there were a lot of people on the cruise ship from England, and they went nuts because saying fanny is the equivalent of saying the C word in England.
Well,
did you know that? Yeah.
Jimmy, you know what would make this extra funny? If you pull out and they're outside of a restaurant that serves faggots and gravy. That's what they call meatballs.
There's a video on
So it
YouTube
could be perceived.
where they give you the recipe for faggots and meatballs, or faggots and gravy.
Yeah, gravy. The commercials are hilarious because you're
There
like,
was actually
wow,
a commercial for it.
Yeah, you better not speak English. That's a hate crime. their general words are hate crimes here.
That's real. That just shows that's the difference in culture.
It's a good thing they got this cop there really policing that while somebody's getting hacked up with a machete like 2 blocks away.
And they call cigarettes
cops are a
fags,
joke.
right? Don't they call cigarettes fag? You got a fag?
I bet but I don't know if they still do that. because I've tried to crack that joke and either I don't know, they're afraid to be arrested or something. But I try to, if you bring it up, it's almost like corny to bring up. So maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't do that anymore.
But I haven't heard any words on that gravy dish. I think that's still going strong.
Hey, we'll see you in Bakersfield, San Jose. We'll see you in Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.